Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everybody. Now, of course, it isn't the B2B Live Lounge today. This is different, but I thought I'd still play the same music. Hello, hello, and welcome to my book launch. This is so exciting. What I'm going to do, this is just me here. I've got a stack of books next to me that I really hope I don't knock over. Please, 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 please do let me hang on. It looks like there's a problem with me going live on LinkedIn, which is slightly weird. I'm trying to go live on LinkedIn, but it looks like it's not working. This is very random. If you are there, can you please let me know? Because it's telling me I'm not actually live on LinkedIn, although I'm live on Facebook and on YouTube. Go live. I'm live. Okay. Right. So we did have an issue there, and it looked like it wasn't going to let me go live on LinkedIn, but it looks like we're here now. Don't you just love live stuff? Because you don't know what's going to happen. You absolutely have no idea whether it's going to work or not. You always hope it will, obviously. And but you just don't know. And all kinds of weird things happen when we go live just to try us and test us. I guess that's the point. And talking of being tested, wow, talk of being tested. Writing a book. Who has anybody here? I'd love to get some comments. I've got a Pedro. Hello, 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 Pedro. How are you? How wonderful to see you here. Who else is in the house? Please pop your hello message. Okay, let's see if anybody can get more O's than Pedro. Greetings from Portugal. Now, Pedro, you have ordered a book. It is on its way to Portugal, and I wrote in it myself because you were a very early adopter, and so I sent you a book over to Portugal. Claire's in the house. Hello, Claire Knight. How are you? How lovely to see you. Pedro, super fantastic. Please let me know when it arrives. Nick Sladek's in the house. Hello, hello. Jim Robinson. Oh, this is fantastic. Roxana, thank you for coming. Great to see you as well, my lovely. How wonderful to see everybody. Please do say hi. Honestly, I thought that LinkedIn weren't going to let me go live. There was a terrible moment. I'm just going to get some water. It was a terrible moment when it looked like I wasn't going to be allowed to go live. But hooray, hooray, we're here. Jane, oh, you're from Guildford, Roxana. Oh, how lovely. I do like Guildford. Jane Clemenson's here. Hello, Jane. How lovely to see you. I'm having to sit very carefully because there's a very large stack of books here. So, and I don't want to knock them over. Claire has got the book, and so far it's amazing, she says. Fantastic, Claire. Thank you very much. And I know that you and I think Marianne are going to do a book review or something, which I'm looking forward to seeing. And I know that a couple of people have reviewed the book on Amazon, but it takes, I don't know how long, but it takes a while for Amazon to check and come back, have a look at the reviews, make sure they're okay before they're published. So I don't think there are any reviews published at the moment, but I know there are some in the system, and I'm eager to see what they say, because of course I have no idea. Andre's here. Hello, Andre. Lovely to see you. I hope to see you soon as well. Kim Willis in the house. Woohoo! Congratulations. She says, thank you very much. It's a really interesting thing, writing a book. Has anybody here written a book and published a book? I would love to know your experiences. Andre, thank you very much. It's been a journey, and most of you have followed it with me. Emma, hello, Emma from Cumbria. Can't wait to hear about my book. Fantastic, fantastic. I'm really excited. So what I'm going to do is take some more water. I have not drunk enough today, which is very bad of me. I haven't been looking after myself. What I'm going to do is talk about employee advocacy, talk about how you can implement it, why it's such an amazing thing, which is what the book's about. So I'm going to give a little overview, but I would love, 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 love to get your views, your questions, and hear your experiences of LinkedIn. And if you work in a company or you have employees or colleagues, how your experience of LinkedIn is in relation to your colleagues, your employees, etc. So I would love you to sort of start thinking about that and maybe start adding comments in the chat, because it's really interesting, from my perspective, when I work with clients, and this is all, employee advocacy on LinkedIn particularly is all quite new in this structured way. So I've seen it from various perspectives, but I would also love to see it from yours. I haven't seen it as an employee. So if any of you are employees and you've witnessed some LinkedIn, engagement as employees, I would love to hear that. Any views at all on LinkedIn, that would be amazing. Pedro's written 6 books. Wow, that's impressive. I need to get one of those, don't I, Pedro? Andre is asking, when is the launch party? Well, this is the online launch party. There will be a launch party in Islington, North London, near where I live, in my hood, in October. Date TBC, I will let you know. And I'm also looking at some venues in the West End of London as well to hold a book launch. So I will keep you posted on that, definitely. Marianne is here in the house. Took a Mac a while to recognize that I was actually live. It wasn't your Mac, Marianne. It was LinkedIn didn't recognize I was live. So don't worry about that. So first of all, any experiences of employee advocacy or just being on LinkedIn with other people and interacting with other people, any experiences of that, and any questions at all that you've ever thought of regarding employee advocacy on LinkedIn, pop them in the chat. I'm going to read some bits from the book. We'll sort of read some bits from the book. I don't want this to be, like Jack and Ori. Our American friends might wonder what I'm talking about. Jack and Ori was a great TV program when we were kids, and there would be presenters reading children's books. I did like Jack and Ori when I was a kid. Anyway, I got the first question. I'm gonna have a look at this. Jim Roberter, thank you. If there was one thing this is a great question. So Jim says, if there was one thing you'd love people to take away after reading the book, what would it be? I'm going to reach to the book for that. So the book is actually dedicated. I'm going to read this out. So I dedicate this book to all CEOs out there who know the struggle involved in getting their voices and those of their companies heard in the huge sea of communication that we know as the internet. And I hope that this book gives you the knowledge and the confidence to think differently and try new strategies. So what I would love people to take away from this book, Jim, and that is a really brilliant question, is to go out there, to go out on LinkedIn, take their teams with them and let their teams loose on LinkedIn. One of the biggest barriers, if you like, to setting up or to a company embracing the idea of employee advocacy is fear. Fear that once they let their employees go out on LinkedIn and use their personal profiles to gain more traction for the company page, which is exactly what employee advocacy is, which I'll go into in a second. But one of the things I hear a lot is that CEOs, MDs, founders, etc., are frightened that their employees, once they've got a presence on LinkedIn, will get poached. Okay, so starting with a negative, it's just not the best way to start. But it doesn't happen like that. So what happens when you train your employees, you give them a new skill, they love you. They love you much more because you've helped them develop themselves as a person, and you've helped them grow, and you've taught them a new skill or new skills. So their bond with you is going to be much greater. So on the contrary, rather than employers or employees rather thinking, great, I've got this new skill, I'm off, woohoo, they're going to think, no, my boss has invested money and time in me to teach me this new skill. So I'm going to stay here. This is a great place to be. I want to be here. And in actual fact, other things start to happen when a company has a system of employee advocacy in place as well. Let me go back. Let's take some steps back. What is it? What is employee advocacy? Because it's quite long words. There we go. Hang on. Let's get to the right way around so you can actually see it. Because it's a bit of a long old sentence. And if I had a penny for the amount of times that I've misspelled the word advocacy, I would be very, very wealthy. Employee advocacy is using your employees or the employees of a company to be advocates of the company. It's very, very simple, really. It's about the employees going out and talking about the company in a positive way. In order to do that, there needs to be a solid, positive company culture in the first place, definitely. You cannot drag your employees kicking and screaming to LinkedIn and saying, come on, we're all going to do this, right? We're all going to LinkedIn and we're all going to say wonderful things about the company and it'll all be brilliant and we'll bring in lots of business. No, that is not how it works. A system of employee advocacy must start because people want to do it. Okay, so initially there has to be some positivity and some culture within the company that helps that. But what also happens, and what I see happening, is that implementing the system of employee advocacy builds on that culture and makes the company even stronger and makes the bonds between the people even stronger. Because what happens is they're all working, well, lots of different things happen. For one, they're all working towards a common goal, which is brilliant. So they're all thinking, they'll get to a point where they start talking about LinkedIn as if it's Netflix. So, oh, I saw your post yesterday. I loved that post of yours that you did yesterday. Oh, did you see that post that so-and-so put on? And oh, I saw that you responded to so-and-so's post. Yeah, no, I really liked that. And the system of employee advocacy becomes a part of the company culture. And it brings the employees together, which is just brilliant. And that's not something I foresaw happening when I started to do this, which was a long, long time ago, actually. And it wasn't on LinkedIn, it was on Instagram. But that's another story, which I do talk about in my book. Please go and buy it. I'm going to put the link actually in the chat when I can find it. In fact, let me do that right now. It's a very long link, and I have got a bit.ly link actually, which I need to get organized and put that in. But here is a very long link to the Amazon page. Oh, crikey, it's come out on lots of different links. The bit.ly link is in my, oh, actually, it is here also. Oh, crikey. I'll tell you what, I'm going to ask the wonderful Kim Willis, if you're still here, if you could go to my profile and pull off the bit.ly link and pop that in, because this is not going to work. Thank you. You see, this is what happens when you go live. Especially when you're me and you go live and you haven't made sure everything is battened down, because it's a bit more fun this way. It's all right. I wouldn't do it for a client, I promise. So what happens when you start to implement an employee advocacy system, I told you it was complicated to say, is the first thing that does actually start to happen is that the employees start to pull together and they start talking about the system, and they start to create a vibe and a buzz around it. And what's really nice is if you can give your system of employee advocacy a name and give those who partake in it a name. Kim's got a long link too. There's a Bitly link, Kim. Oh, I'm gonna have to find it. I'll put it up in a minute. It is the joy of going live, Marianne. You are absolutely right. So when I'm trying to find it as I'm talking to you, and that's a really wonderful thing that begins to happen. So the other thing that happens when you start implementing a system of employee advocacy is, of course, the interactions not only between the employees increase on LinkedIn and their relationships get better, but also the main point of this is to build the networks of each employee to bring those people back to the company page or to the website, wherever you want them to go. And obviously everybody's got slightly different ROI on this. So always I will identify what is the ROI here. Do you want people to go to the company page? Do you want people to go to the website? Do you want people to buy directly from the company page? What's the ROI here? Let's work that out. And let's make sure that we've all got that established before we start. So the word I use a lot is empower. You cannot make your employees, you cannot make anybody do this, because your personal profiles are your own. They do not belong to the company. So any company who forces their employees to play around with their personal profiles is doing the employee an injustice. And in fact, it's not great for the employer either, because an employee who is behaving on LinkedIn, reacting to company page posts on LinkedIn, posting on LinkedIn under duress is not going to do it very well. And what I see happening, in fact, what I saw happening when I first started training people how to use LinkedIn, I saw this happening. And people will come to me and say, oh, my boss says I've got to update my profile. My boss says I've got to post this. I've got to post that. They've sent me a whole load of posts and I've got to post one a week on my personal profile. But I don't really think the posts are very relevant to me. I don't want to do this. I don't understand why I'm doing this. So as an employee advocacy trainer, my first job is to explain why. Why a system of employee advocacy is not only good for the company as a whole and for the company brand message, but it's also good for each of the individual employees, whether there are 2, 3, or 300, 3,000, it doesn't matter. But each of those employees who are empowered and taught how to go out on LinkedIn, how to optimize their profile, how to reach out to new people and interact with comments and things on LinkedIn, people who are doing that and are taught to do it will do it well. And they'll do it in the way that people want to do it. But what happens is that each employee begins their journey to become their own brand. And it's so powerful. Personal branding is huge. We know, we talk about it a lot. And if you as an employer can help each of your employees be their own personal brand, but within the company, and I always say wearing the company hat, so they have got their own brand, they are doing their own thing, they are using their own voices, but they're kind of following the path of the company. That's so powerful. It's so, so powerful, because they're going to be loyal, and they're going to be loyal and bring those customers, those people, not even just customers, but they're going to bring all their new audience to their own brand. But they're also, by doing that, by default, they're going to bring them to the company brand as well. And they're going to bring them to the company page. They're going to bring them to the website, wherever the ROI is, wherever we want them to go. Because people work with people. People listen to people. And I have got lots and lots of stats about how people want to speak to the employees. They want to speak to the engineers. They want to speak to the marketing director. They want to speak to the sales team who are on LinkedIn. They want to speak to them on LinkedIn. They don't want to speak to the company. They want to speak to the HR director. They want to speak to all of the employees because it's easier. It's easier to speak to a person than it is to speak to a company page. So get your employees out there talking to people. And if you've got a big tech department in your company and you've got a whole load of tech people who know about the tech that you're selling, then get those people out on LinkedIn talking about the tech, because 9 times out of 10, people that are buying your product they want to know the tech behind the product. They want to know how it's built, what it does. They want to know all the latest gizmos, the latest machines, the latest technology. And if you've got people in your company who have that information right here, easy at their fingertips, get them out on LinkedIn and talking about it, because you're going to make all that information so much more accessible. Okay, so it's so powerful. I'm just going to take a pause because I see Felicity's in the house. Hello, Felicity, who has purchased the book, because Kim, thank you very much, Kim, has put the bit.ly link. Thank you, Kim Willis, has put the bit.ly link in the comments. So if you're listening to this afterwards on the replay, this recording will sit in my content stream on LinkedIn, on my profile, under videos. So if you go to there, go to the comments, the bit.ly link will be in there. And it's also on my LinkedIn profile as well. Thank you, Kim Willis, for sharing that. I'm going to give you a couple of little stats that I've got that are in the book. In fact, I'm going to show you the inside in a second. I'm going to show you this page 20. This is. So if you happen to have the book, has anybody got it with them? Marianne, you've got one, haven't you? There we are. Now, of course, I say page 20. See, here we are going live, because page 20 of the ebook is different. It's not page 20 from the actual book. And I'm reading from the ebook on my screen. So I need to find, are the pages shorter? Here we are. This stat is incredible. This is the one that blows me away every time. I don't know if you can see it. Posts shared by employees get a 561% higher reach than the same post going out on a company page. 561% up to, obviously. So your employees, if they're posting on LinkedIn, up to 561% more people will see their posts than the posts on the company page. And that's the way that LinkedIn is structured. LinkedIn don't want company pages going around on LinkedIn and bashing personal profiles over the head with their message. Thank you, LinkedIn. I really appreciate that. Okay. But if the employees are going out talking to people on the same level, then that's how it works. That's how LinkedIn works. And that's, I think, how it should work. And I really like the fact that it works like that. So that is a huge stat. And I think that alone is a really good reason to encourage employees to go out onto LinkedIn. Has anybody else got another question? Because I'm trying to find this other stat. So I'm going to read it to you anyway. This was a Hinge report from 2 years ago, and they were looking at employee advocacy systems that were already in place. And they came out with the fact they were looking at the ROI, okay, on an employee advocacy system. They identified tangible, measurable benefits, such as, number one, increased inbound web traffic. We all want that, don't we? Yeah. Better search engine rankings. How much do we pay for SEO? A lot, okay. Increased content downloads. So when posts go up on LinkedIn, more people are downloading the content from the posts, but also content from the website were increased. And guess what? This is the one I absolutely love. The marketing costs went down. Down! How cool is that? So all of those amazing things were happening and the marketing spend was less, which is absolutely fantastic. So the concrete finding that Hinge came up with was this, and I'm going to read it, so apologies. Nearly 64% of advocates in a formal program, and I say the word formal program, credited employee advocacy with attracting and developing new business, and nearly 45% attribute new revenue streams to employee advocacy. Nearly 45% of the new revenue, they say, was because of the employee advocacy scheme. That's a lot. That's huge. Here's a situation that I want you to imagine, and I use analogies a lot. So let's say Jane is the boss of the company. Once a month, she goes off to a networking meeting in person, and she comes back. Every single time, she will always come back with 2 clients. Great, 2 clients a month. That's great. Jane's happy with that. That keeps her business going. Jane's got 2 employees, okay, Jack and Jill. One day, Jane was off sick. So she rang Jill and she said, would you go to the networking meeting with me instead of me, please, because I'm not well. Jill said, well, okay, but can I take Jack with me because I'm a bit nervous? She went, yes, all right. So Jack and Jill both went to the networking meeting. And guess what? They came back with 4 leads, 2 leads each. That is how employee advocacy works on LinkedIn. And if you think of that multiplied by however many employees you have got in your organization, it's huge, absolutely huge. So to me, it's a no-brainer. It's an absolute no-brainer. Okay. And another specific finding actually that the Hinge study found was that social media engagement created a 56% increase in web traffic. And get this, a 25.1% increase in revenue. And that's not even the employee advocacy, that's just the social media activity. You can't ignore it. You absolutely can't ignore it. So let's have a look. I've got some questions and some comments. Hello, hello. It's page 15 of the book, Claire Knight. Thank you so much, Claire. You are a little darling. Thank you so much for that. Marianne, Mark Masters posts shared by employees get a 561% higher reach than the same post going out on a company page. Oh, I think you're helping. Oh, Mark's in the house. Hello, Mark. Nice to see you. Hello, hello. Mark Masters, there's a printed source in the book as well, number 9. Oh, gosh, this is all going very technical in the chat, but carry on, carry on. Okay, Robin Pierce. Hello, Robin. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Has asked a question. Are there any tools or platforms you recommend to facilitate an employee advocacy program? Well, yes, I do. So I have created my own spreadsheet, which I use with my clients, which helps me keep an eye on what my clients are doing. So they record their metrics and I can see them in my spreadsheet, which is great. And it helps me see what everybody's doing. And it helps me chivvy those along who are doing well and those who perhaps aren't doing so well. And chivvy is a good word, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But there are other platforms. I'm about to start using, and I'm very excited actually to start using the newish bit of a platform which some of you will know called Agora Pulse. So Agora Pulse is a social media scheduling platform of vast magnitude. And I've been using it for a long time for social media marketing. And it has recently developed an advocacy section. And I'm about to start using that with one of my clients. And I'm really, really looking forward to using it and seeing how it works. And what what a tool can do is it can help just make the whole process a little bit easier and a little bit more efficient. And there are other tools. There's a tool called Disseminate. There's various different tools. Please, if anybody's looking at tools for employee advocacy, please come to me, because I've got quite a sort of little library, if you like, of tools which I would recommend you to use. So please do come to me. But one of the things actually that I would say about implementing a system of employee advocacy is to keep it simple. Learning LinkedIn is a new skill for many, many employees. They've never done it before. It's all very new. So anything that can help keep it simple and accessible for them is a win. So I'm not a big fan of bringing in great big, systems. Let's do this, let's go there. You have to log in here. You've got your portal there and another portal here. My view is let's try and keep it as simple as possible and as accessible as possible, because otherwise you're going to scare people away. And as I say, LinkedIn is a new skill as it is. So let's get them over that hurdle, and then let's look at ways that we can make this even more simple. Okay. So why do we do this? I think I've explained why we do this, but looking at specifically ROI, which I've been talking about, what do we measure? How do we measure if this is working? So the first thing I would always look at is the number of followers and the number of the followers and connections of each employee. And if that's growing and growing in the right way and growing in a relevant way, then this system is working, because this is about growing networks and helping people get more followers, more connections, more leads, and more opportunities. And it's not just about connecting with potential clients and people who you can sell to. This is about expanding your network in a way that you can bring in people from all over the place. One of the other things actually that happens is that future employees start to notice the company page and the company as a whole as the brand message increases, and across LinkedIn, people start to look at it and go, oh, hang on, this company's quite cool here, because they're all out on LinkedIn and they're all talking to each other on LinkedIn. I want to know what they're talking about. I want to know what this company does. And by doing that, and when that starts to happen, you start to attract a better quality of potential employee. So university graduates, people who are, I think they call it silent, what is it called? Silent seeking for jobs. When you're in a job and you just look at, I'll just have a look. I'll just have a look to see what's out there. And a lot of people are doing this. So if you're there, if your company's there talking about the great work you're doing, talking about your clients, sharing testimonials, if your employees are going out on LinkedIn and networking and meeting other people who may want to come and work for your company, you're potentially increasing the volume and therefore the quality, potentially, of people who want to work for you. And also, what happens is, because the culture of the company is kind of all out, all over LinkedIn, because people are talking about what's happening in the company, it's easy to see what the culture of the company is. Those people who apply to work for the company know the company already. They know that they're aligned. They know that they want to work there. So they're a better quality and they're a better fit for the company. Okay. And that's really powerful. Now, where are my stats about costs per hire, which are huge? Hiring costs are enormous. And if you can reduce those in your organization by keeping your employees longer, that is a huge win. Okay. So really important that you're helping your employees not only look for and communicate and grow their networks with potential clients, but also potential employees. Okay, it's very, very important. The other people that you can try to grow your network with are previous clients and current clients as well. So there was a study from the Wharton School of Business. There you go. Referred customers, let's talk about referrals here, have a 16% higher lifetime value than average customers. So if you keep your relationships going with previous clients and current clients, keep that relationship going, keep popping up in their feed, keep saying hello. When somebody comes to them and asks them, who did your whatever, or do you know anybody that can do this? They're going to think of you because you're front of mind. So that's a referral. Okay. So it's more likely to convert, and it's more likely it's going to be a higher cost, and they're more likely to stay. Okay. So a really valuable thing that starts to happen is an increase in referrals. Okay. And if your employees are going out on LinkedIn regularly and building these relationships with people, do you know what's going to happen? Trust is going to start to develop, a higher level of trust in your brand. And that's really, really valuable. Okay. So if somebody's on LinkedIn, they're connected to one of your employees and they've got a question about your product or your service, and one of your employees, I can help you with that. That's trust. That's a really valuable way to build that trust. That communication pathway is smooth, it's easy, the information is there. So that trust is going to develop. It's really, really valuable. I'm just coming back. Are there any questions? Claire's got to go. Bye, Claire. Anybody got any questions about any of this? Because if you have, please ask them here or go and buy the book. The link is up there somewhere. I'm going to see if I can copy and paste it. Oh, I know. I'll put it there, can I? There it is. It's on my screen now. So please head over there and have a look at the book. I put a post up this week about hiring rates and how LinkedIn is sneaking up. LinkedIn is the second biggest platform for job seekers after Indeed. And it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And Indeed really, really needs to watch out. So at the moment, 62% of people say that they will look for a job on Indeed. 57% say they will look for a job on LinkedIn. It's huge. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay. So definitely another reason for an employee advocacy system. The other thing that happens is when you've got a community in your organization and you're building a structure around LinkedIn, a structure of employee advocacy, and people are talking to each other, you're going to keep your employees for longer. They'll stay longer if they're happier and if they feel an affinity and friendship with the people in the company. And I've seen happen in the past where an employee posted about mountain climbing at the weekend. Off they went mountain climbing at the weekend, and they'd posted it on their personal profile. And they were based down in Wales. And this was kind of around lockdown, in between lockdown. And another of the employees lived up north somewhere and saw this post and said, I didn't know you were a mountain climber. Oh, yeah, I love mountain climbing. Anyway, guess what happened? They went mountain climbing together and became very firm friends. That wouldn't have happened if that person hadn't posted about that on LinkedIn. So there's many, many different positive things that can come out of an employee advocacy system. Okay, so I'm just seeing any more questions here. I'm going to have a little look at, so I've talked about why. I've talked about why we do this. And I don't think there are many negatives. I'm trying to think. The only negative I think is the one I've covered about the fear of employees going off and doing other things, but that just doesn't happen. If the system is monitored properly, it absolutely doesn't happen. Okay, so I'm going to go and have a look. Page 109. I'm sliding over in my ebook. Who's going to do this? Who within the organization is going to take part in this system? So I work with companies, and I'll start looking at a company and working with them, and it's often quite easy to identify those employees who are going to be really on top of this and really want to do it, and those who are perhaps a bit quieter, perhaps they don't want to do this so much and they're not really sure. So starting looking at people and asking them what they think, whether they want to do this or not. And my advice is to start with a small team. Start with about a third, depending on the size of the company, but it's generally about a third of the people. Get them motivated. Teach them what they're doing. Really drive them forward, those ambassadors. Give them a name. Give them a name. They're a group. This isn't just an add-on that we're doing here. This is a proper system that we're implementing, and this is something we want you to take seriously. We will praise you and commend you for doing this, and we will thank you for doing it. And we will praise and commend and thank you for every little effort that you can put in, okay? So using a small core of people to start this and get this going. And then what happens after that is other people who I would put as supporters, so they can support the ambassadors. Some of them will then come forward and say, I want to have a go. I want to try this, and it'll grow. And you won't get everybody in the organization on board. You absolutely won't. But use the ones that you have wisely. Nurture them, teach them, praise them. And they're going to grow, and they're going to really, really enjoy doing it. And the point of this whole thing is that they should enjoy doing it, because if they don't, they're not going to do it very well. Having somebody keeping an eye on the system as it goes forward is invaluable, because people will drop off. It's like when you go to the gym in January, you start off, yes, I'm going to the gym. I'm going every day. I'm going every single morning. Oh, it's raining. Oh, it's snowing. Oh, I'm too tired. Oh, I went out last night. And it gradually starts to drop off. But if you've got somebody either within the organization or somebody externally who's driving it forward, who's saying, hey, you haven't been on LinkedIn for a couple of days. You okay? Or, oh, I see you did that. Well done. What about doing this? And looking out for opportunities, helping them maybe structure some posts and helping people grow with the system, then it will carry on. And it's really important that that happens. When I first started teaching employee advocacy, I'd go into organizations and I spent a whole day, and we would have a great time, and everybody would have their profiles finished. They would have posted a piece of content during the day. They would have reached out to 3 new connections and started to build relationships with 3 new people by the end of one day. Huge results from 0 to hero in a day. And everybody would be, Sarah, this has been amazing. I'm going to do this forever. 2 weeks later, nothing. So this is why it needs somebody either externally or internally to keep driving this system forward, okay? So who are you going to choose? I'm going to go through this now, and then I think we're probably done, but please post any questions or comments in the chat. You want people who are enthusiastic and who are engaged in the system and who want to learn, who want to know what it is. Try and choose a diverse representation of the company. So people from different departments, different ages, different levels of experience, because that way your audience is going to be wider. because somebody in the tech department will be able to speak to the people who want more technical information. Somebody older may attract an older audience, whereas somebody younger will attract a younger audience. And if that's, if you need that demographic, get all of your different types of people that you've got in the organization utilizing this system. Communicators. It's without a doubt that this is a communication exercise. So make sure that the people that you're using in the company, that you're helping them drive this forward, are confident communicators or on their way to being confident communicators. And it's amazing, actually, when people start doing this and they can be quite shy, they come out of their shells. And it's just wonderful to see how people's communication skills improve and increase. You want people who know about the company, who are knowledgeable about the company and understand the company and believe in the company, because they're the people that are going to be talking about it in a positive way. And you want people who have a positive mentality, for sure. Okay. If you've got people in the organization who are already active on social media, so understand the level of communication needed, understand what social media is about, you're going to make your life much easier. Have a look at those people who have got leadership potential. You might want to get them out. And you definitely need to make sure that all of the people who are doing this are team players. You want to create a team out there. But the most important thing in any employee advocacy system is that it's coming from the top. So the CEO, the C-suite, they all need to lead this in some way. Now, I get that not everybody's got the time, but whatever anybody can do, it starts from the top and it filters down. Can you imagine you've got a new employee who's just started working, young, a young girl, she's maybe, a bit nervous because she's never worked in a company like this before. And the CEO reaches out to her and says, we'd like you to think about joining our employee advocacy program. If that came from the CEO, what an honor. What an absolute honor for that young girl. And then if the CEO is commenting on her posts on LinkedIn, how great for her, but also how great does that look externally? It looks like the company is cohesive, is together, and has a really strong and positive company culture. And all of these things put together will help build sales and build brand awareness. So there's so many positive things to a system of employee advocacy. I think I've talked enough. Before I go, has anybody got any more comments or questions? You all have the link there. It's up in the comments. So thank you, Kim, for putting that up there. It's been great to see you all. If you're still here, I think you all are. It's difficult to see from StreamYard. Any more comments, please pop them up. It always takes a while. But this has been amazing. It's been great to be here with all my books. It's very, very exciting. I will let anybody know when there are in-person book launches, which there will be in London coming up in October. I'm away next week. So after that, I will be doing some in-person launches. But please, please go over to Amazon, take a look at the book. You can do a little read. They give you a little segment. Thank you, Nick Sladek. Great to see you. Please go over to Amazon, have a look. And if you want to ask me any questions at all, or if you've got anybody that think would benefit from an employee advocacy, I would be so grateful if you would send them my way. And I bet each of you know 3 people. I bet each of you know 3 people who you think, 3 organizations that you work with, that who could benefit from an employee advocacy system. And if you do them a favor and send them to Amazon to buy my book, or send them my way. Either way, I don't mind. But if you can pass this information on to 3 companies, 3 people, you'll be doing lots and lots of people a huge, huge favour. Thank you, Marianne. Great to see you. I'm so glad you enjoyed the book. Here it is one more time. I know it's got blue on, which isn't really me, but I did quite like it. Yeah, I was very pleased with the cover design, actually. Really, really happy. And this was the first take. This was the first take. I think they gave me 2 options and I was like, yeah, this one, love it. Absolutely love it. So thank you very much. I can't remember their name, which is terrible, isn't it? Book Cover Hub is the designers. They were brilliant. And I also would like to say a huge thank you to my book coach, who I don't think can be here today. I think she's driving across some continent or other. Marlena Bernstein. Marlena, I always get the name wrong. I'm going to have to get it wrong. Benson. Marlena Benson. Please follow her on LinkedIn. And if you are thinking of writing a book, do send her a message, because she has kicked my butt from start to finish, but in a very, very good way. And I don't think I'd be here if it wasn't for her. So thank you, Marlena. And thank you, Book Cover Hub. And look, I'm going to show you the inside. See, that's the black and white version of the cover. And there are some illustrations, not loads, but because it's a book about LinkedIn. But what I have done is I've got these lovely graphics here with the quotes. The text is quite big, and it's not a difficult read. Look, there's 2 quotes there. And it's very clearly laid out in my true style, because I think everything should be very clear and easy. So thanks, Jim. Thanks for coming. And I am going to play us out with a bit of music, if I can find it. There it is. Thanks, everybody, for coming. Please go buy my book.